Hello, welcome to Hazel Jane Tarot. Today I am filming a deck review of the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sterle. This deck is the main deck I've been using in the month of September, and it is absolutely fantastic. Spoiler alert, I love I love it. I love this deck. I received this as a present, and honestly, I don't think I would have bought it for myself. Um, the deck is published by Liminal 11. This is a mass market deck. I think it was originally published as an indie deck, and it came out, I believe, around the same time as the This Might Hurt Tarot. And at the time, I really liked the art style of This Might Hurt. And they seemed to cover some of the same territory for me. Like they were both more diverse, more inclusive decks that were redrawings of the Rider-Waite Smith. And so I felt since I had This Might Hurt that I probably didn't need the Modern Witch Tarot because it would be doubling up on a very similar kind of deck. And actually, I am so glad I got this because I love it. It's really fantastic. So it comes in this slidey box, which, if you grab it by the top, the bottom will slide out, but it looks really nice on a shelf. If it's sitting side on, you've got that beautiful picture of the Hermit, or you could go for Temperance, side on your shelf, or, you could have it sitting with the beautiful Magician facing out on your shelf if you wanted to do it that way. This isn't a deck I would bother putting in a bag because the box is so nice. Even inside, I don't know if you can see there. Oh, you can now in the light. Even inside the box is decorated, even though you can barely see that, which is just a really nice attention to detail. And then the Modern Witch logo on the black box insert. Now, there was a bit of cardboard around it when it came out of the box fresh, but I threw that away because I didn't really need that. So that's the box. Now, it came with this fun little bonus card. Which I remember from social media around the time that the deck was sort of in development before it was issued. Everything is fine. So that's the card that was actually used for the Ten of Swords, the same image. But that is just hilarious. I love it. And I must find somewhere to stick that up because, it's a cool image. And that's then replicated again on the cover of the little guidebook. Now, I'll come back to the guidebook later, but it is a little black and white guidebook, but it's hardcover, which is so unusual, considering that it's similar length to a little white book, 56 pages. But it's, again, really nice quality and attention to detail by giving it this nice hardcover and the same pattern there as is inside the box and so on. So it's a really nice little guidebook in terms of quality. So these are the backs, and as you can see when the light catches, it is kind of a shiny cardstock. Not shiny to the point that you can't photograph it without glare. I mean, you can see there the way it's sitting with the camera looking at it. There's no glare on it from that angle. So it's only really when you tilt it towards the light that you get that shiny glare. So it's absolutely fine for photographing. It is really slippery. If I show you, they just fall out of my hands there, which I like. I know some people don't really like that kind of cardstock, but for me, they fan beautifully. And as if you've been watching some of my other videos, you'll know I'm in recovery from a broken hand. I don't know if you can see that awful lump here. Anyway, enough about my hand. Being able to fan the cards out rather than shuffle them has been fantastic. To be working with that through September as I'm still in recovery. And they do shuffle overhand really nicely as well. So I really like the symbolism on the back, the crossed swords and the cups and the wands, and the little keys, the pentacles in the corner. And I think that's a smartphone, which, as I'm filming this on a smartphone is a big part of my tarot experience at the moment. And this is the Modern Witch Tarot. Now, so as a witch tarot, they've made the decision to make this a female deck, and female or female presenting characters throughout. There are no males in this deck, and I think that's where maybe at the time when I purchased This Might Hurt instead of this, because it felt like it was one or the other for me at the time. this deck, because it was all female and This Might Hurt had male and female characters, I had gone for that as a preference. But that was when this was only an indie deck. And then now obviously there's this mass market version. So a couple of things about this deck then as I sort of flip through the cards. The characters depicted have a real mix of, so they're all women, but they're all a mix of skin tones, as you can see, a mix of body types as well. I mean, while they're mostly quite slim, there are some who are slightly fuller figured, shall we say, and that's nice. I enjoy seeing that. And the way the femininity or the femaleness of the characters and the female presenting characters, it's a really broad range of hairstyles and clothing styles, and which is really nice. As you can see, the coloration is very similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith. We've got the same kind of yellow skies and blue skies and so on. But the line work is really clear and fine, and the colors are just really lovely and solid. The characters in this deck are so stylish. Like, everybody is wearing really kind of modern, trendy clothing, and they're mostly young. I would say mostly young. I don't think there are many, if any, older women depicted in the deck. Look at that! The bit of rock sticking through the person who's fallen from the tower. That makes, and is it a bit twisted? That makes me laugh when I see it, but it's a good little detail. The star, she has purple hair, which I love. And something I didn't notice until just the other day using this, is this figure coming out of the water instead of like the crayfish or whatever it is that we normally see here. We've got this mysterious dark figure coming up from the depths in the water. It's just really unsettling and spooky. I love it. The baby on the horse is a bit older. So that's the major arcana, and as you can see, they're exactly a redrawing of the traditional Rider-Waite. So we'll just have a wee look at some of the pentacles. I really like this one. The art class and the life drawing of the full-figured model. This sense of collaboration between the women to create the piece of art is a really nice kind of envisioning, a revisioning of that Three of Pentacles. In terms of the diversity of the characters, I did try to just do a very rough, I didn't count the cards, but like a very rough pile where I put sort of the very obviously white characters in one pile and the people of colour in the other pile to see, and the piles were roughly the same height. So in terms of a mix of diverse representation, I guess that is a positive thing. And as I say, there's the King of Pentacles. In terms of the presentation and dress style of the characters presented, there's a really broad range of what it is to be female and what it is to present in the world, in terms of your style and your self-concept and stuff. There's a good range of depictions here. And here in the Two of Cups, we've got two females. In the Lovers, we had, again, probably two females, but one of the characters had shorter hair and they're pictured from the back, so it's a bit more ambiguous as to the gender of the both characters in the Lovers. It's kind of like a witch's hat. There aren't that many, sort of like the everyday witch's hat style witch depictions. They're mostly more contemporary than that. And then we have, the Ten of Cups again. We have two women with the two children for the family, the happy family depiction. So just to do a little side by side then with this is the Smith-Waite Tarot Centennial Edition by US Games. So as you can see, the composition of the images is generally very, very similar, if not exactly the same, you know, like the stream here and the little like rising headland there, and the posture and which arms holding the cup and so on. You know, they're very, very similar. But then just the style, the dress, the quality of the color, you know, is different. The Centennial obviously has that sort of faded, aged effect on the colors. I love this Queen of Cups. Look at that beautiful dress, and her hair is such a cool color. Mermaid on this throne, and she's still got, you know, the feet in the water, and you know, so much is the same, but then it just has such a modern vibe. So I really, really enjoy this deck. There's the King of Cups again, so similar but yet so modern and different take on it. I like the change of posture here and the blue sky out the window. I think it gives a slightly different, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a slightly more hopeful depiction, I guess, of the Four of Swords. Like the blue sky maybe has more of a positive connotation for a modern reader than like a church window. Maybe a church window had more significance at the time of, you know, the making of the card in terms of signifying hope or appealing for hope. Obviously, with this being a sarcophagus, it's a slightly more negative interpretation than, you know, somebody lying with their hand over their face. The facial expression here is slightly less devious than what we get in the Rider-Waite-Smith. You know, so there are changes to the mood of some of the scenes. There are changes to the composition slightly, but only slightly. I love this Knight of Swords. It's been coming up a lot this month. Again, here's another. The queens are great. It's another fantastic queen. Look at her clothes. They're just so cool. So yeah, very similar. Like even the position of the bird in the sky and the clouds, you know, it's very, very similar, but it's just different enough. You know, so it communicates a lot of the same information, but just the style is different. And then now we're just down to the wands. It's like, should just say 2020. I like how they've added in the motorbike to the Eight of Wands, you know, the momentum of that card. Even just the posture, you know, it was very reminiscent of the Solibusca and then obviously the Rider-Waite-Smith, but the modern dress just gives it such a different feel. Lovely. See, the queens are just great in this deck. So I think, you know, for tarot readers who are experienced with or used to the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's very, you know, it's familiar. The symbolism is really familiar, but yet it's just modern. And there's something about, I think, the feel of the card, the bright colors, the lovely, just everything. Every time I lift this deck out to work with it, I just have really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed how it feels in my hands, how it looks in a spread. I really couldn't, I can't really criticize the deck except for, I guess, just the theme of it being modern witch, so it's all females. You know, but it does what it says it's going to do, and it does it really, really well. The guidebook is great. It's written in a really nice, accessible tone. I think if you're new to tarot, this is a perfectly good guidebook to give you a good, solid introduction to the card meanings. Like, I remember the little white book that came with my very first deck, you know, it just had a list of keywords after each card, and that didn't really make sense to me. You know, I had no other tarot information at all apart from the little white book in 1997 that came with my deck. And, you know, this doesn't just give you a list of random keywords, you know, like, wedding, wedding, marriage, engagement, you know, that don't relate to anything. You know, we've got a little paragraph like, you've raised your defenses, steeled yourself against opposition, and blindfolded yourself. By refusing to budge, you've blinded yourself to the truth of a difficult situation. You know, so it's descriptive in sentences, it's relatable, and then there's like a kind of key sentence that's in bold. So it's a perfectly nice little guidebook. I haven't referred to it much, you know, because I didn't need to read with the deck, but I did just read it for interest, and it's a great little guidebook. The other thing that I did do, which I don't normally do, but this shows you how much I like this deck, I tried out the spreads. So the 4 power spread is a really nice spread. I found it really useful. And the other spread was the inner wheel. And what I liked about both of these, again, fitting with the Modern Witch theme of the deck, this spread is based on the Wheel of the Year, and this is based on the principles of to know, to dare, to will, and to keep silent, you know, so that ties in really nicely with the Modern Witch theme of the deck. And yeah, so the whole thing is just really coherent and works really, really well. So my take on the Modern Witch deck is, if you're looking for a deck with women, you really can't go wrong. I mean, I way back bought the Triple Goddess Tarot because I was looking for a deck that was all female. At that time, I hadn't seen a deck like that. Now, of course, there are loads of decks with all female depictions. But if that was what you're looking for, you can't go too far wrong with the Modern Witch Tarot. And the card stock, the little guidebook. You know, if you had a niece or a friend who was wanting to start reading tarot, I think this is a really accessible deck for younger tarot readers as well. And yeah, give it a big thumbs up. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your experiences of and thoughts of the Modern Witch Tarot below. Did you get the indie version when it was first out, and or have you bought this for someone as a gift, as this was a gift for me, which went down very well? You know, how did it go over? So I would love to hear your thoughts about this deck, and if you would like further content like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again soon.